Speaker.
The Honourable Rick Marker.
Mr Speaker, I want to start with the words of a mother who lost a son at Pike River, who said to me that the people of Christchurch have it much worse than they do. She said, while we waited for our loved ones, we could go home where things were normal, but for the people of Christchurch, they couldn't. They had to wait and go home to broken homes. They had it much worse, she said. And I think that few words underscores the enormous compassion and feeling the people of this country have for the people of Christchurch. They see the devastation around them. But the people of Christchurch also, in my experience, have enormous resilience. I've spent quite a number of days down there and attended a meeting in Aranui where one man stood up and said, I think I speak for everyone here. He said, yes, we're doing it tough. Things are tough, but we're okay. We're holding together. All we need is a few more things to help us make it through the day. And what he was talking about was the fact that they had, at that stage, no power or water or sewage now, at that stage about 7 or 8 days. Many of them, 14 days on, still have no power, no water and no sewage. They don't criticise the companies that are trying to put them in because they can see the enormous effort that's being put in. But the fact is, I ask each one of you to think, how could you go home 14 days on and never switch on a light switch? Never get the jug to boil in the morning, having to cook like you're in a camp. These people are doing it, they're doing it tough, but they're doing it and are coping remarkably well. They have enormous admiration, as I do, for all of the civil defence workers, the emergency workers. They've watched the people reconstruct the roads in incredible times, simply relayed Pages Road in 2 days, rebuilt everything. They watched these people work incredibly hard. They've watched all the people come in from out of town to help them. They've spoken about the airlift in from Rangiora. I went around the corner and saw some people from Hamilton cooking breakfast. There's people come up from Flaxmere, have come down with a barbecue to help cook. And people are supplying food of all sorts. I went to Brighton, and here were the Hare Krishnas offering an alternative to this sausage, white bread and tomato sauce with vegan and vegetarian foods. Everybody's there. And I think this says very clearly of the great compassion New Zealanders have and sympathy and support for the people of Christchurch. They want to help. They want to do everything that they can. It's often been said that New Zealand is not a country but a large village. And when we look at what's gone on in Christchurch, you can see that demonstrated. Everybody in this country feels what's gone on in a part of their village and they want to help. They want to help in any which way they can. And it's up to this Parliament and the leadership team to give them the means, the tools and the direction that they can provide that help. There is an enormous wellspring of goodwill, Mr Speaker, a deep compassion from people throughout New Zealand, and they want to help contribute. I want to say, from a person who currently lives in Hastings, I was not there when the earthquake struck, but I have looked around Napier and Hastings and offer this words in my reflection of it. Whatever happens in the near future in Christchurch, people need to realise that it's going to shape that city for the next 80 or 100 years. So these are things that we need to think deeply on and be very careful about how we plan, because it will shape that city for a long, long time. But having said that, we cannot afford to dally. I want to underscore the point made by the Honourable Jim Anderton, that the mornings have been cold in Christchurch. People, when the first big quake struck, knew that summer was coming, that they had time. But time has gone and more devastation is on the city. And many people who had their houses broken and destroyed then still have seen no action from it. Winter is coming and people are nervous. Tiles are off their roofs, walls are out, things are broken, and they're living in shells, camping in shells, and they are apprehensive. They're apprehensive about how long it's going to take until they get something permanent. And the last comment I'd make about the people is that I went the other morning to try and find a paper. It takes a long time to get around Christchurch to find a paper in the morning. Not a lot's open because they're all broken. But when I went to a BP station, I said to the woman who was there, I said, "Are you okay?" She said, "I'm okay, but I'm tired." She said, "Look at the man next here. Look at him. He's really tired." He said, "You've got to appreciate everybody in the city is very tired. Those who have got jobs are working incredible hours. They're working more hours than they can really cope with. Those who don't have jobs are incredibly stressed and they can't sleep either. People in Christchurch are really tired and are really fractious. And I want to say that that's something we need to put in our thinking cap to say, how can we look to support the people of Christchurch? The last comment, Mr Speaker, comes from my Aunt Anna, who said as she went around in Hawke's Bay that everybody is talking about Christchurch. She said it's been a great leveller. She said, yes, it's levelled the city, but it's levelled everybody else too. She said everyone she's spoken to is looking at them and theirs and their circumstances and saying how lucky they are. And that luckiness that they aren't affected is a thing that drives them to want to be able to help the people of Christchurch. Mr Speaker, there's a deep wellspring of goodwill for Christchurch in this country. We need to give them the opportunity to help.
Aaron Gilmore.